If is an interesting 2024 film and is also a pretty creative one. If you ever had a childhood memory where you always had an imaginary friend and loved the creativity and concept of them overall, then this film is for you. I've had plenty of times when I used to have lots of fun during my young days. Every once in a while, this movie definitely reminded me of them. It taught me about, despite growing old, you will always smile over the fact that those good times happened in your lifespan. And with some thought-provoking themes slash messages to be discovered in this movie, I will now be explaining it all. The positives and negatives that this movie hides within its runtime. Before we start, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thank you, and enjoy. Okay. Firstly, let's get the obvious positive out of the way. The messages slash themes that this film delivers is tremendous. Exploring the concepts of imaginary friends we may have had during our young age is really fascinating. Even growing old over them is explored wonderfully, as while people may have grown up over them, they can still be important to one's mind. The themes we get to explore in this film is imagination, fear, and memory. These three core elements are discovered in some of the greatest ways possible, and really helps this film show the viewers its charming storytelling. Also, something I like about this movie is that it's smart. Sure, it may be a kids flick, but due to its mentioned themes and messages I previously talked about, it can be really smart for even adults too. Not only do you get to see the exploration of childhood memories from kids, you also see the same thing for adults and what they loved doing as a kid in their young days. Bee's grandma, with her own if being Blossom, was a perfect example of this. All of us have had those special days happen in our lifetime, and this shows charmingly because it teaches all of us a great lesson from past to present. Also, another great part of this movie, really cute and well written characters, as well as all of the ifs being creative and having a great concept slash connection from their own people. Keely Fleming and Ryan Reynolds as their prospective characters, Bee and Cal, have amazing chemistry with each other. Blue was a deep slash funny if. Lewis had some significant moments showing the age generations around us. All the ifs from their past people were, like I said, are creative and colourful to see. And Keith was just a super funny comic relief if. All of the voice acting was awesome, especially with plenty of recognisable actors to see here. Ryan Reynolds as Cal is very stellar and definitely reminds us about his upcoming Deadpool movie, and that he's getting us warmed up. Then there's Steve Carell, who is also getting us ready for his upcoming Despicable Me 4 performance as Gru. He gives off a nice performance as Blue the If. Oh, and Kaylee Fleming is so adorable as Bee here as well, like I said before. Just an adorable little charming protagonist with lots of heart, charm, and positivity. In fact, all of the actors portrayed their characters slash ifs amazingly, and there was no part in the film where they became unlikable. There's also plenty of emotion to be seen here, especially with the ifs. At the end of the film, all the ifs are seen again by the creators that created them. And also Lewis, the Paddington-like teddy bear, reminding us about our memories where we think back to the good old days. And it works because it helps the story go along, delivering more interesting story details and plenty of ideas. It does make the ifs more cute and pretty special as well. The soundtrack is also really great. While it doesn't really have the strongest approach, I still like how it fits the scenes well with emotional depth. Michael Giacchino's music approach is usually a lot more epic sounding for plenty of other movies, so it's nice to see a different approach from that to a more softer and more touching soundtrack. It does well on making the scenes feel more emotional and have plenty more heart into them. Finally, the CGI is really impressive in a few scenes, especially for the ifs that make them truly come to life in the scenes. It works very similarly to other movies that have something like this, such as Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog. Except those movies were more advanced since they were more action oriented. This movie, however, since it's got a lower budget, it manages to do similar levels of CGI from these said movies and truly does well on making the ifs feel more around us. It makes the film feel even greater to watch at times. Now for the negatives. Starting off, there's not a lot of world building here. It's just a lot of New York City, and that's pretty much it. There are some great locations to be seen here, but if you were expecting to see some actual globe-trotting locations, you are not seeing them here. The lack of showing off for the ifs and where they would be in after growing off from their creators is genuinely great, but we don't see it a lot, and is only briefly seen during the job interview scenes. Then, it's just sort of forgotten about. It's disappointing because it makes the ifs, aside from Blue, Blossom, and Lewis, forgettable. Secondly, there's not a lot of magic to be seen here. It lacks a lot of the magic that make some other heartwarming kids flicks special. They were special at the time due to their portraits of the characters, the use of special effects, and the wonderful scenery they would show. This film, however, doesn't have much of it. I think the ifs should have had a bit more special personality in them. There should have been some scenes of them in a special way on when we first see them, because we already knew of their existence at the start, and therefore should have had a much stronger approach with a mix of magic slash mystery. Also, the pacing has issues at times, as well as the tonal shifting. Pacing especially has problems, with it sometimes being fast-paced or at times being at a much slower pace. The tonal shifting is also a problem here, as well as while the elements are mostly the same, the tone mostly isn't. It changes through elements like whimsical to morose. Suspense can also be seen here as well, which doesn't make sense since us audience don't need to always be fully engaged in this film, as it's mostly a simple film which we all would be able to learn from its story and direction. Finally, the colourful story doesn't work as well in this film. I get that it's a kids' film, but it needs more grounding. It's set in Brooklyn. Since it has this following mistake, it does a few things wrong. It feels like something you would see in Wonka movies. In fact, it copies elements from the 2023 Wonka film. Colourful elements slash characters, similar looking protagonists, and just identical visual effects overall. It does at times have a similar approach to Wonkaland, which is great taking ideas from it, but at times it falls flat due to it becoming very original and not unique. Overall, my final opinions on If is that it's an excellent 2024 movie, despite a few flaws. It's a cute little family flick with lots of heart and charm. It reminds us much of our past lives and what to be expecting for the future of us to come. Also, much like some similar movies that followed before it, If stands up well with its messages and realistic themes. It's not outstanding, but it works wonders in many different styles and storytelling, making it a solid, though flawed, 2024 film. What is your opinion on If? How did it make you feel as the story went on? What was your favourite childhood memory? And did you like the morals this film offered? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. And subscribe to my channel if you're new to see more on my channel. Thanks for watching. This is a movie that has great morals for both kids and adults alike, with true imagery going through the mind of a viewer. If is a wonderful creation by John Krasinski.